Namaskar everyone and welcome to the Geeta Satsang. Let us start with the Prarthana. By the Guru's grace and the will of Sri Krishna, we have all assembled for this Geeta Satsang. May we have their guidance to be able to learn and adopt the things which will help us to grow spiritually. Let us chant the Shlokas. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranatakleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namostu Te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullara Vindaya Tapatra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Ramanujadaya Patram Jnana Vairagya Bhushanam Srimad-Venkatanathāryam Vande Vedanta-Deshikam Yo Nityamachyutapadambujayugma-rukma Vyamohatastaditarani Trinaya Mene Asmadguror-Bhagavatosya Dayaika-Sindhoho Ramanujasya Charanau Sharanam Prapadye. So with prayers at the lotus feet of the Acharyas, let us start our topic for today. So we have been studying the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So previous satsang we had seen up to the 9th shloka. So today we will continue. The content of the 10th and 11th shlokas are kind of related. The ideas flow in continuation. So we'll take them together. So in the 10th shloka, Lord Krishna is saying, Saha yagnya praja srishta purovacha prajapatihi anena prasavishyadvam eshavostvishtakāmadhuk. In the beginning of all creation, Prajapati created humankind along with duties. And he said, Prajapati said, prosper in the performance of these yagnas, for they shall bestow upon you all that you wish to achieve. So Krishna has been trying to explain to Arjuna about why karma yoga is to be performed. He has told many reasons. He has said it is easy for everybody because we are used to karma. Then it does not bind us in samsara if it is done with the right bhava. He has told all that. So now further he is explaining that at the beginning of time, when there was creation, when Srishti took place, then at that time, Prajapati told human beings, he created the human beings and he told them that you will get prosperity. How? By performing yagnas. So whatever you want to achieve, you will get that if you do yagnas. So here, these yagnas are a part of karma yoga. So we have seen how Krishna has told that actions which are supposed to be done with the right bhava, they no longer remain karma, they become karma yoga. So these yagnas or sacrifices, what do you mean by yagnas? We'll come to later. So performing these particular actions, it will give the person who is doing it whatever he wants to achieve. So that he should be doing the karma yoga correctly. In the 11th shloka, Krishna says further, he continues, Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayantaha shreya paramavapsyatha. By performing sacrifices, by doing yagnas, the devas, the gods, the celestial beings, the devatas, as we can say, they will be pleased. And by cooperation between the human beings and the devatas, great prosperity will come for all of them. So it is going to be a mutually beneficial relationship. So what is it that we are being taught in these two shlokas? So here when we say Prajapati, the Lord, Prajapati created all beings, right? So in some places, the interpretation is given as Prajapati refers to Brahma. Somebody who does Utpatti of Praja is Prajapati. So technically we can say maybe that Brahma is the creator. So he is the one who is called as Prajapati. So many times they will interpret this word Prajapati to mean Brahma, who created. But actually, if you see, it was the Lord who first created Brahma. And it is only because the Lord has given the power to Brahma that he is able to do the further part of the Srishti, isn't it? So, if the Lord had not given that responsibility and that power and that capacity to Brahma, he would not have been able to do it. So, in that sense, here, when the word is being told as Prajapati, the Acharyas, the Sri Vaishnava Acharyas say that it refers to Lord Sriman Narayana because he is the ultimate creator. So, there are concepts of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And they say that Brahma is the creator and Shiva is the destroyer and Vishnu is the sustainer. So, overall, if you look at it, it is Lord Sriman Narayana who is the provider of all the capability for all these different aspects, right? So here the Prajapati word refers to Lord Sriman Narayana. So what did the Lord do? At the time when he created, okay, after that he instructed these humans to perform yagnas to attain whatever fruits they desire. Now here Vedanta Deshikar points out a very ironical fact, right? What is, if you look at this shloka, Krishna is talking to Arjuna and he's saying, in the beginning of creation, Prajapati created human beings and he told them this. So actually, who is it who has told all this? It is Krishna himself, right? This same Krishna who is telling now to Arjuna has only told in the past. So he is reporting as though somebody else told. But actually, it is the same Krishna who has told this thing. So what do we mean? We say that Prajapati told that all human beings should perform yagnas. And when they do yagna, they will get whatever fruits they desire. So what is this yagna? Does it only mean the physical act of, setting up a sacrificial fire and making offerings into that? That is one part of it. But the word yagna is much more broad and encompassing all different areas here. So yagna refers to all the actions which are prescribed by the shastras. So if the shastras are telling you that you should do nama japa, that is yagna. If the shastras are telling you that you should be doing dana, then that is also yagna. If the shastras are telling you you should perform a sacrificial fire, you should do homa havana, then that also is yagna. So all the actions which are prescribed by the shastras, if the shastras are saying you should do Veda Patana, then that is yagna. If the shastras are telling you should involve yourself in doing seva in the temple, then that also is yagna. So all the actions which are prescribed by the shastras are called as yagna. So here the commentators give the example. Like suppose you have a cow and that cow gives milk and that milk is drunk by human beings. So to get this cow to give the milkman is required to milk the cow, isn't it? So if we equate this and we compare this with our situation, we can say the Lord is like the cow. The cow is there ready with the milk to be given. So the Lord is like the cow. What is that milk? It is our desires. It is whatever fruits we want to achieve. Those are that those desires of ours are the milk. So our desires can be attained from where? From the Lord. So the cow is there ready with the milk. The Lord is there ready to fulfill our desires. Who is required to get that milk out of the cow and into our hands? It is the milkman. So the agency through which it is coming, that is the milkman. Similarly, the yagnas are equal to this milkman. So when we perform yagnas, that will help to get our desires fulfilled from the Lord. And we are the ones who are drinking that milk. So when we perform yagnas, how is it that the Lord grants our desires? Is it not that we are doing yagna, we are doing particular homas or whatever actions we are doing for particular devatas, particular deities? Then isn't it those deities who are giving our boons? Yeah, we can say that if you look at it in the sequence, it does appear as if it is the deity, the devata who is giving us. But then again, we come to the same concept. Who is it that gave the devatas the power to give? Who is the supreme power behind these devatas? It is Lord Srimanarayana himself. So when we perform yajnas, we are offering to the Agni. And in that, whatever is offered, the Agni will will transfer that to particular devatas. And when those devatas are pleased, actually, what is the situation? Just as the Lord is Antaryami within us, the Lord is also Antaryami within those devatas. So when those deities get the offerings, the Lord himself receives those offerings. And then the Lord is pleased. When the Lord is pleased, naturally, like the cow gives the milk, the Lord gives whatever it is that we have desired. How does he give? Through those devatas only. Now, very rare is the soul who understands that it is actually Lord himself who is giving us. So when we understand that concept, we need not spend our time and energy on pleasing the devatas. If we know the boss, the CEO in an office, will we go and stand with some junior level officer? Will we go and stand, requesting things with the gate man, with the security guard there? Definitely not. We will walk directly into the CEO's office, isn't it? Similarly, when we understand it is actually the Lord who is giving everything to us, then why should we actually get stuck up at the level of the devatas? We must do whatever yajnas are prescribed. And in the Shastras, it is told that when you perform particular yajnas, those particular devatas are pleased and they will grant your desires. But what is the actual implied meaning there? It is the Lord who is Antaryami within those devatas, and that Lord is actually the one who is granting everything. So when we perform these yajnas, which are the actions prescribed by the Shastras, then the Lord is pleased. And because he is pleased through those devatas, he will give us whatever fruits we want. Now, Arjuna has a doubt in his mind, and we may also have this thing. Now, whatever items we are using in performing yajna, those items are inanimate, they have no jnana, then how can it be beneficial for us? So, Krishna is telling Arjuna that when any human being performs a yajna, then that deity is pleased. When that deity is pleased, then the Lord is pleased, and he is the one who is giving the phala. So, it does not matter about the items, whether those items we are using are having jnana or not. The ultimate authority who is in charge of giving the phala, he is the one who is having supreme jnana, isn't it? He is Sarvagnya. So he is the one who gives the phalam to us. Now here again the commentators give an example that suppose let us say there is some student who is answering an exam, an entrance exam to get admission into a college. Now this student studies hard, he writes the exam. After he finishes writing the exam, now he is writing exam for how much time? Just maybe 3 hours. What is it that he has written in the exam? What he has studied for months and years together, right? So in a short duration, he writes the exam. That whatever paper he has written goes to a teacher who values that paper. He corrects that paper. That teacher allots certain marks to it. And on the basis of that marks which have been scored, the ultimate authority, who is above the valuator, above the corrector, that authority allots the seat. Now, can a student get a seat by not going through this process? Can the student bypass this process and get the seat? It is not possible. Similarly, because this is the process which is laid down for getting a seat in the exam. So just like that, we also, unless we please the Lord. So in our situation, what is the thing? Who is writing the exam? It is us. What is this exam that we are writing? It is the yajna which we are performing, right? And as a result of that, who is this teacher in the middle who is doing the correction? It is the devata who is there, who is supposed to be receiving the whatever is offered in the yajna. But who is the ultimate person who is giving the seat? It is the final authority. And who is that final authority? That is Lord Srimanarayana. So we cannot get the seat without being allotted by the authority. Similarly, without passing through this process, without going through this yajna process, we cannot get the benefits that we want. Because only by doing these yajnas, we will please the Lord. And when the Lord is pleased, he will give us the benefits. But there is one difference the commentators point out in this thing. We are comparing this process of writing exam with getting the palas that we want, right? So there is one difference. When I write an exam, that person who corrects the exam does not really know anything beyond what I have written in the paper, isn't it? That teacher will not know how much effort I have put. That teacher will not know whether I had some, very difficult circumstances in my life and still I wrote the exam. So that teacher will only see what is on the paper and correct and give marks for that. But in case of the Lord, not only does he see what I am doing in the yajna, but he is also seeing how I am doing it, isn't it? How he is seeing it, because that teacher who corrected the paper is not physically present with the student. The student has written the paper at one point of time and has submitted the paper and gone away. At some other point of time, in some other geographical location, the teacher is doing the correction. So that teacher has no other knowledge beyond what is on the paper. But what about the Lord? He is antaryami within me. He is sitting inside my uh, innermost parts. And this, because of this, the Lord knows about the efforts that I am putting in. So that is why it is told that how I am doing the yajna, with what bhava I am doing the karma yoga, whatever action I am performing, whatever I am offering as a yajna, in that what I am offering, that what is not so important as the how I am doing it. In many cases, the Lord says, even just you may not be able to offer any great thing, but the intention that you have to offer a lot is often enough for the Lord to say that, yes, you are my great devotee and I will give you whatever you're asking for. Why does the Lord do this? Is he foolish? Does he not realize what I'm doing, what I'm not doing? It's not like that. When a mother is there and she is full of love for the child, then she is not, she many times she knows that this child could have maybe done better, or this child is not doing what it is fully capable. But because of her love, she says, okay, so much this child has done, isn't it? She feels happy with the tiniest effort that that child has made. Similarly, the Lord, he is just waiting, for an opportunity to say that, yes, this person is a devotee, he has done this. And one good thing that you do, he will write off, he will strike off one papa from your account. He will add to your punya account and he will strike off your papa account. So many times what we offer is not so important. How we offer, how we do the yajna, with what bhava we are doing the sadhana, that is more important. Now that does not mean that I should say, okay, I have a very good bhava, I want to offer a lot, but I am not going to offer it. God will only see my bhava, isn't it? Like that. Not that way. He will see, are you capable of offering X amount? Are you offering X amount? Are you offering less than X amount? What is the reason for that? Right? All these factors he will consider. And if he sees that genuinely there is a good intention and there is good attitude and good bhava in that sadhaka, then he is very happy with whatever little you may have offered also. Like here, there is a story which is told, during this during this Dhanurmasa, in the Tamil culture, we celebrate the day of Sankranti, that is Pongal day, right? So during these 30 days in this month of Dhanurmasa, there is a stotra which is recited. It's called Tiruppavai. So in that, on one particular day, it is a norm that shloka for that day talks about offering sweet pongal, sakare pongal, or what is called as akara vadisal to the Lord. So that has to be prepared. That dish to be offered to the Lord on that day has to be prepared in a particular way. It's a recipe which is made up of rice and green gram dal, moong dal. Then you have to put jaggery into it. A little bit of milk is put, ghee is put. Then all dry fruits and nuts are put. So very specifically, it has to be prepared. And the idea is it's a very rich sweet. So there should be lot of milk, lot of ghee, lot of these raisins and cashew nuts and all that. So one day what happened was, so everybody strives, everybody struggles very much to prepare this particular sweet on that day and make it very tasty and delicious because it is offered to the Lord that day. So there was one very poor couple, one husband and wife. They were so poverty stricken, they had nothing beyond the next meal. That husband used to go beg, and whatever little he got, he would bring home and they would eat that. And somehow they were surviving, very bad condition. And yet, they knew that the next day this Akara Vadisal had to be prepared. And that night, both this husband and wife, They are lying down to sleep, and at that time they are talking, they are discussing, how shall we prepare, how much shall we prepare of that dish tomorrow. So the wife says, let us make one pav. Then that husband says, no, no, that is not enough, let us make two. Then she's telling, okay, then if it is one pav, then two paws, then we have to put so much of rice. Then he says, oh, then we will need so much of milk. Then she's saying, okay, then we will put so much of ghee. Then he says, we'll put so much of cashew nuts. She says, I will put so much of raisins and all that. So like this, they are both talking and talking very in a grandiose manner, very grandly they want to make that sweet and offer it to Lord. What do they have with them? They have nothing. So talking like this only and imagining and dreaming about what they are going to, how nicely they are going to prepare that and offer to the Lord, they fall asleep. The next morning, have they offered anything? Nothing. But the Lord has ticked away some amount of papa in their account, and he has added punya in their account as if they have actually offered that dish to him. So why did the Lord do that? Because he knew for them it was not possible to offer. And yet their minds were large, their heart was large hearted enough. They had so much desire to offer. So even the intention that those couple had to offer, that intention itself was enough for the Lord to bless them. So like this, we are supposed to perform yagnas. Whatever we are doing, we must do it to the best of our ability. And the Lord is not really bothered about what you are offering, but how, with what bhava you are doing. Are you the best, doing the best that is possible for you in those given circumstances? That is what he is going to look at. Now, here, then further, Arjuna has another doubt in his mind. He says, the Shastras tell, and if you look at a lot of the Veda Vakyas and in the Upanishads and all also, there is very specifically, it is said that it is only jnana which can lead to moksha. No other thing can lead to moksha. It is only jnana which can give moksha. But Krishna is saying karma is also giving moksha. So is that not contradictory? We say that whatever the Lord has told, that is only in the Shastras. So how is it that the Shastras say jnana gives moksha? How is it that Krishna is telling here that karma can also give moksha? Karma gives moksha. Doesn't it sound contradictory? So Krishna is explaining to Arjuna. He says that you do all these yajnas, you do these karmas, but how? Without any expectation of a result, without having any selfish interest, without wanting it for your own good, without thinking that you are doing it, without the sense of doership, no kartritva, for maximum benefit of entire society. So if I'm going to have this attitude, this bhava, when I'm doing my karma, then what happens? That itself is jnana. That is the right knowledge that I have. So without expecting a result, without wanting a particular outcome for my own benefit, without feeling that I am doing this karma, when I do like that, then it means that I have got jnana already. And that is why such kind of karma yoga will give moksha. Krishna has never told that just doing an action will give moksha. If you are doing it with the proper jnana, then it will give moksha. Then Arjuna has another doubt that, okay, we are saying now in this shlokas, Krishna is telling that if you do these yagnas and all, the law, the deities, the devatas will give you prosperity. So when we say prosperity, it means lot of wealth, it means happiness in our life, right? And if you compare that with moksha, again, it sounds contradictory, isn't it? It sounds like two different opposite directions. If I tell somebody that you have to go to Chennai, and then I say you have to go to Delhi, and then you have to go to Chennai. So, Delhi and Chennai are two opposite directions. How can we say they are the same? So, also, prosperity and happiness in this Janma is one thing, and moksha is something else totally. How is Krishna telling that performing yagnas will give both? How can Karma Yoga give us prosperity also? How can it give us moksha also? So Krishna answers, and he's explaining that what we need for living on this life until the time that we are alive, moksha will be granted only at the end of this janma. So that moksha will be granted by Karma Yoga. But till the person is living here, he needs something. So if he does Karma Yoga in the proper way, the devatas will also give him whatever prosperity he requires. Krishna will also give him the prosperity that is required. So whatever is required to lead a life on this earth, whatever is required to perform that karma yoga, and moksha at the end of that life. All these are going to be given by Krishna. So they are not contradictory and opposite directions. They are just like consecutive effects, effects which come one after the other. So first, you will have prosperity in this life. You will keep leading a good life. And as you keep performing your karma yoga, you continue to do all that. At the end of this janma, you will be granted moksha. So karma yoga can give you everything. It can give you whatever you need, to whatever you require and you need to lead a happy life on this earth. And it can also give you whatever you require to get moksha at the end of the janma. So everything is one after the other, it is coming in the same path. And when we do yajnas and we offer respects to the deities, those devatas, they will bless us. So this kind of a bhava of mutual respect and goodwill is beneficial for both, because it is the Lord himself who has created these devatas, isn't it? So we must understand. And yet we must not think that it is only the devata who is giving me. I should not do a yajna or a homa only for the benefit of the devatas. I should understand that it is Lord who is Antaryami within that Devata also. And I am ultimately, whatever I am offering is offered to the Lord himself. So with that bhava, we must do whatever yajnas. So again, what are those yajnas? They are all the actions which are prescribed by Shastra. So when I keep performing those actions which are prescribed by Shastra with the right attitude, with jnana, then that karma yoga, that becomes karma yoga, and that karma yoga itself will give me prosperity in this life. It will also give me moksha at the end of this life. So many times there are some people in today's modern world, who say, they will say, I am very spiritual, but I am not ritualistic. Hmm? I don't do rituals and all that. I don't do puja and all this. I don't do any particular vidhi, but I'm spiritual in my mind. So there cannot be anything like spiritual with the mind and no doing ritual, because doing the ritualistic part is the discipline which is necessary for the mind to get purified, for the mind to go to the next stage of becoming spiritual. So we have to do rituals, but in a mindful manner, with the right bhava, with the complete knowledge of what I am doing, why I am doing, and what I am hoping to achieve by doing it. If I only do ritual, okay, just because it has been told to me that in my family this is a practice to be followed, and I just do it mechanically without any thought in that whole process, just I'm mechanically performing the actions, then that also is not going to take me ahead. Then it becomes just a ritual. If I say I will not do the ritual and only in my mind I'm offering to God and I'm doing like that, then there is no discipline in that. So it will not, I will not stick to that for very long time, and I will not be actually doing it in the right sense. So the best way is a combination of both. We need to perform whatever rituals are told. If it is told you do puja in this manner, you have to do puja in that manner. If it is told you have to perform sandhya vandana, you have to perform sandhya vandana. If it is told you have to do this particular act on this particular day, or you have to do this yagna, you have to do dana like this, then you have to do it like that. But it is not only about doing that ritualistic part mechanically. Do it with complete knowledge that I am doing this because it is told by the Lord. It is told in the Shastra, and whatever is told in the Shastra is the actual voice of the Lord. And by doing what is told in the Shastras, I am going to please the Lord. And pleasing the Lord is the entire and sole and only purpose of my life. All other things which I think are important are actually not the purpose of my life. Why I have got this human janma? So that I can do whatever is required to please the Lord. He is my father. You remember we talked about all those Navavida Sambandha in during the Navaratri Satsang. So he is the Pita, he is the Rakshaka, he is Swami, he is Adhara, he is everything. So the whole purpose of my life is to perform my actions in such a way that they are actions which are prescribed by Shastra. And I perform them in such a way that the Lord is pleased by those actions. That should be my only focus. And to do that, I have to do the rituals, but with mindfulness. I have to perform the karma, but I have to do it with jnana, and then it will become karma yoga. So, this is what we have to learn from these shlokas. We have to do karma along with jnana, and that is the best combination. That is the only combination which will help us to get the Lord's blessings. So, we have talked about a lot of different things today. The main thing here being told is that you should perform. When Prajapati created human beings, he said you perform these yagnas. And these yagnas are nothing but all the actions which are told in the Shastras. And when we perform these, the deities will be pleased. And when the deities are pleased, that will please the Lord. And the Lord will give us whatever it is that we desire. So whether I want something in this world, I want some happiness or prosperity in this world, or I want moksha. For everything, I have to only go to the Lord. He is only going to give me everything. In the initial stages, I may do what is called as sakama sadhana. With some desire, I am doing some sadhana. It will be a worldly desire. I want a job. I want to pass in the exam. I want to have a marriage. I want to get children. I want something for my child. All these are our worldly desires. I want to get a particular post. I want to get fame. I want to get money. Whatever it may be, they are particular worldly desires that we have. So many times, initially, people start off like, kind of striking a bargain with the Lord. I will do this, you give me this. I will do that, you give me this. Is that wrong? It's not wrong, but it is okay as the initial starting stage. As we go further and further, as our sadhana increases, as we if we want to progress on the path of reaching towards the Lord, then we must realize that this is not how it is going to be throughout. We should go beyond this stage. We must do whatever is told in the Shastras because it is told in the Shastras. We must do what is told in the Shastras because we know that is what is going to please the Lord. And we must do it because pleasing the Lord, we realize that pleasing the Lord is the supreme goal of my life. It is the only goal of my life. So when we do like that, we will progress in a proper way as the Lord expects us to. And we will get, if somebody is, if there is a beggar standing on the road and there is some rich man who comes there and gives him a 500 rupee note, then when he gives him the 500 rupee note, there is also 100 rupees included in that 500, isn't it? So you don't need to separately ask for that. Same way, when we do whatever we are doing to get the blessings of the Lord, to make the Lord happy, then whatever else has to come to us, the Lord will Himself give it to us. That is worldly prosperity. That is worldly happiness. So we will definitely get what is going to come. So why should we focus on the small and petty things and ask for those things? Let us focus on making the Lord happy. Then when He is happy, He will give everything that we require. And we have no other requirement other than to have the Lord's joy, to be able to feel that He is happy with what we have done. That should be our biggest reward. So we have to pray that Krishna should bless us, because it is very easy to talk about this in theory. But then when we are leading our normal daily routine lives, it is very difficult. It is difficult to see the joy of the Lord when things don't go as per my wish. I want things to happen a particular way, but they are not going that way. There are other people who are coming as obstacles. So whatever it may be, I think that, oh, this didn't go my way. But then we must understand that it is God's way which is important. My way doesn't matter. Lord's way is what is important. And if something has gone not my way, then maybe God is trying to teach me something through that. So this we need to constantly keep reminding ourselves that I have to do whatever has to be done with mindfulness in order to make sure that it pleases the Lord. So let us pray that Krishna will bless us to be able to get to that stage. So now we have come to the end of our topic for today, and it is time to offer gratitude. Let us offer Kritagnyata at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna and Guru for inspiring us to start and join this satsang. And let us pray that their blessings and grace will always be on us. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Next week will be around 18th, I suppose, the satsang. I will let you know whether we will be able to have it on that day or what. And if you have any ideas, I'm not really sure if I will be able to have a satsang, but I think January 22nd, right, is the opening of the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya, inauguration. So if around that time, maybe if not on 22nd exactly also, whichever is the closest day we can figure out, if we could have one satsang specially for that occasion, because it's the fulfillment of the desire of all of us for so many years. So if we could have something special on that occasion to commemorate that, we will try. Let us try for the exact date. Only I'm not sure if biologically I will be in the right time. So if we can, we will have it on 22nd. If not, whatever is the earliest, closest possible date around that time, we will have the satsang. And let us pray that coming up of that temple will also be, lot of joy to us. May let it bring changes in the, what you say, the nature of our country, the nature of things happening in our country. Let it be a good beginning for all more prosperity to come our way. So thank you, everybody. Ranjini ji, you have given a message about, emphasizing need to perform rituals. Yeah, people are giving up ritualistic practice. So we need to reiterate and tell everybody all these things. Thank you, Ranjini. Thank you, Zarna ji. Thank you, Tulsi Ram. I think Chudamani Mami, and who else is there? Geeta Mami is there. Thank you, everybody, for joining in.
Thank you. Thank you, Ma. Thank you.
We will meet again next week in the satsang. Thank you. Namaste.